So today we're going to go over how to create a circle graph from a data set. So a circle graph is also sometimes called a pie chart. And we did go over this before the break, but I thought let's go with a review here. And what we're going to be focusing on is taking percentages and then changing them into degrees. So in our example, Josie asks her classmates what their first language is. Here are the results. English, 47%. Mandarin, 31%, Tagalog, 12%, and French, 10%. So we are going to recognize that a circle has 360 degrees. Okay, and so we're going to use this to guide us when we're trying to figure out how many degrees each percentage should take up in our pie chart. So we're going to be converting from percent to degrees. So let's start with English. So English, we are at 47% of the students are saying this is their first language. So we need to find 47% of 360 degrees. So some of you know how to use the percentage button on your calculator. Go for it. You can do that and you can get straight to your answer. If you don't, what you're going to do is you are going to change your percentage into a decimal, and we do that by dividing by 100. So if we divide 47 by 100, we end up with 0.47. And then we're going to multiply it by 360. So remember that the word of means to multiply. Okay, so if we do this, then we get approximately 169 degrees. So we're going to round to the nearest degree. So we want a whole number. So no decimal places here. It's hard enough to kind of estimate degrees on a circle graph or a pie chart if you don't have the degrees delineated for you. So we're not going to do any decimal places. Okay, so that is English. We know how much space it is to take up. Now let's do Mandarin. And we're just going to follow along what we did before. So Mandarin is at 31%. And so we want to do 31% of 360 degrees. And that is equal to 0.31 times 360. Again, we're taking that percentage and changing it into a decimal place. And this gives us 111.6, but remember we are going to round to a whole number, so approximately 112 degrees. Next up, we're going to do Tagalog. And Tagalog, 12% of people said that that was their first language. So 12% of 360 degrees. Again, we change that 12% into a decimal. So we do that by dividing by 100. We get 0.12. We're going to multiply that by 360. And we get approximately 43 degrees. Again, rounding to a whole number. And lastly, we have French. So French is at 10%. So we want to do 10% of 360 degrees. And 10 divided by 100 gives us 0.10. And then we multiply that by 360 and we get 36 degrees. Now, if you've rounded correctly, then when you add up all of your degrees, they should equal 360. So if we do, here we have 169, so 169 plus 112 plus 43 plus 36, that equals 160 degrees. So that's a way for you to do a little check. Okay, now let us attempt to sketch out this pie chart. Okay, so here's our pie chart or our circle graph, and I'm going to do my best to estimate here. So we're going to start up here. Here is 0 degrees. And that means that this would be 90 degrees here, 180 degrees here, 270 degrees right there at the 9 o'clock position. And then back up at the top, we go all the way around. That is the same as 360 degrees. Okay, so I'm going to start off with English. So English, we have 169 degrees. And I'm going to start off here. So at 0 degrees, I'm going to go around clockwise and not quite to 180. So 169 degrees, let's say that is about here. Okay, so that means this big chunk on the right, this is English as the first language, and 47%. And next up, let's go around to Mandarin, which is taking up 112 degrees. So if we go from where we left off right here with the English, that's at 169. So if we add 11, that takes us all the way to 180. And then we just need to add about 101 degrees more to take us up to 112 degrees. So we're going to go all the way from then 180 and just a little bit above 270 right there. Oops, pardon my wobbly line. Okay, this is Mandarin at 31%. And then we have Tagalog that's at 43 and French that's at 36. Okay, so I'm going to do my best to just kind of estimate that Tagalog is going to be a bit larger than French. So here we go. And just for short, I'm going to put tag and actually no, tag's okay. And then, darn it, that's not the number we want. Okay, Tagalog is at 12%. So we want the percentages, not the degrees. And then we have French, and I'm just going to put FR because I don't have space anymore, and that is at 10%. And there we go. We have calculated our degrees. So we've gone from percent to degrees to be able to represent Josie's results as a circle graph or as a pie chart.